And we are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, heralds of the known world, and welcome to the Meridies April ILOI decision meeting. I am the Honorable Lord Ulrich Eisenhand, Pen and Herald for the Kingdom of Meridies, and I have some wonderful, wonderful people with me to help discuss this month's letter. We'll go ahead and start with Boss Lady.
Hi, I'm Flaunet Mahaney, Beacon Principal Herald. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'll let the rest of you do your introductions. Have a great meeting. I'm going to go enjoy the evening with my husband since it's our 36th wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
All right, next up, Kurt.
Hi, I'm Kurt Bogner. I am the Cipher person for Meridies.
Right, Lucien.
I'm Lucien D'Artois. I'm the Lambent Herald for Meridies.
Here, Mistress Bronwyn.
Hi, I'm Mr. Bronwyn O'Goodwillie. I'm White Antelope Herald. That's not an office. I'm just here for fun.
Right, Finna.
I'm Thorfinn Moss' daughter. I am the herald for the Barony of Gladenville in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, we got Keelan.
Hi, I'm Lord Killen McOden, and I'm Hammer Herald for the Barony of Thor's Mountain.
And joining us, but apparently not audibly tonight, is Spark, who's going to be the next Beacon Herald after Flaunet. That is Woo Dorin. Hey, Woo.
Hey, Woo.
And now joining us is, late to the party, Master Matthias.
Don't tell anybody.
Too late.
And so, let's go ahead and dive headfirst into this letter, because it's a bit of a doozy. All right. Number 1, new name, Anton von Augsburg. According to commentary, docs check out, no conflicts. Anybody got anything else to add?
I didn't find anything, so.
There was one comment saying that this is a name from Saxony, not a name from Bavaria, but since they're neighboring states, I think we're okay.
That's in Bavaria.
The only reason I said that is because the submitter specifically said they wanted authenticity for Bavaria, and that's not a Bavarian name source. But whatever, it's registrable as a German name.
Yeah.
Well, we can throw ourselves on Pelican's mercy and see if they can find anything closer.
So, no conflicts. Gonna move it on up.
Moving on up.
Correct.
To the east side.
All right. So next up, number 2, Asa Snoradottir. New name and new device. Starting with the name, both are from Viking Answer Lady.
They're also both in Garibassi.
Which is probably where she's pulling them from.
Yeah.
Very possibly. The patronymic also appears to be correctly formed.
Okay.
The I changes to an A when given names ending in I are made into patronymic. So Snora daughter is correct as far as I can tell.
Right.
Dansette, would you come get your cat?
Yay, we got a woo!
Oh, can you hear me? Okay, sorry.
Woo!
We've been able to hear you since that is in Bavaria.
That's in Bavaria.
That's a Shire demo story that we will tell later.
Yes.
All right, so name looks good. Moving it on up onto the device. Argent, a domestic cat, Sagent, within a serpent, an annual warrant of its own tail, all within 3 mullets, Azure.
Now, am I correct in that the only problem that we see with the redraw is the fact that the client wanted the cat primary?
Yes, she was very specific about that.
Right.
There's room to make it a little bit larger, but they would still be co-primaries, would they not?
Yeah.
Well, I think that as long as the cat is visually as big as it can be, so that it is a co-primary. Now, I'm speaking for somebody, but I assisted this person at Gulf Wars, and her father, who's also in this submission packet, both went on and on about their cat, and so that's the reason why the cat is featured in this one.
If we make the cat just a little bit larger, that should address that, should it not? Does anybody think it wouldn't?
That snake's real big. I mean, it's borderline.
It has to be for the head to be identifiable.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the original submission drawing, it really looked like an
You
annual.
can barely tell.
I really don't think there's a way to make to get all the charges identifiable and what the submitter wants, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, we could work it around to where the cat is a secondary, just as large as we can make it, where the primary would be the serpent.
Well,
The stars could be a little smaller.
They could be.
that's what I was thinking.
If you blazoned it with the cat first and said a cat within, it would sound like it was primary in any case.
Well, that's what we've got.
Yeah.
Yep.
But visually, right now, it doesn't look like a primary charge. It looks like a secondary charge because the snake is so much bigger.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't matter what the blazon says. We don't register the blazon. We register
No, it's
the
the emblazon. If we made these stars just a little bit smaller, opened up the snake a little bit, and made the cat as large as possible, I think we could get away with that.
Yeah.
I think we could.
Yeah, because I think the real issue is not only just that the snake head got bigger, but the width of the snake got bigger, and that kind of made everything look backwards from where the original submission is. So maybe
Also, the snake, the line drawing of the snake has a bolder outline than the cat does, and so it contributes to the impression that the cat is less visually distinctive than the snake is. If the cat had a bolder outline and was a little bit larger, and the diameter of the opening with the area within the snake was a little bit bigger and the stars were a little bit smaller, I think it would make a difference.
Yeah, at the very least, you'd get 2 co-primaries, and the stars would be more, because right now the stars look too big. But so if you made the stars smaller anyway, they'd look more visually secondary, and I think that would clear everything up too.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that.
Kaylin.
I believe we can drop 2 and 1 from the blazon because that is the default.
That is a default.
For 3 items.
Correct.
All right. So we will. But I mean, aside from the image, is the device good?
Yes.
If we fix those issues that we were talking about.
Yeah, because there weren't any conflicts.
Yes, nobody found any conflicts with it. Whether or not, it didn't matter which we checked as primary, we still didn't find any conflicts.
Yeah, I searched it both ways just to be. I said I searched it based on the cat being the primary, but I also searched on subsequently on the snake being the primary, and I still didn't find any conflicts. So
okay.
So I think a redraw would address any problems that we have with this.
All right.
Yeah, I believe when my searched, assuming that the cat and the snake were co-primaries.
Yeah, that's what you stated in your.
So we've got all 3 instances covered then.
Yes.
All right. All right. So we'll get a redraw of that and get submitter permission. And if they okay it, then we'll send it on up.
Sounds good.
All right, moving right along to number 3, Brennan Rennell. New name and new device. Starting off with the name. See here. Brennan, Family Search. Rennell, is that also Family Search?
Yes.
Yes, IGI batch number, but it doesn't have a letter on the batch. Is that an I batch?
Yeah, that's an I.
Okay, I was seeing a 1 there at first glance.
Well, there's a C batch reference that Gerard found.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just checking that.
And
information, yeah.
He further down, I put the link for this source.
Yeah, that link is good. So
yeah, it's better documentation. In any case, I think we've got them both because Brennan is an English surname dated to the Gray period, and late period English surnames can be used as given names. So,
and Rennell is also late period, so there's a
yeah. Rennell was 1642.
Wow, that is close.
1635.
It's 42 in the link that Gerard.
That's
oh,
what
right.
I'm
The
looking at.
1635 one was the I batch one, and then
Right.
Yeah.
You found the C batch one that was.
It's 1642. Yes.
Hey, we got that's 8 years, and it's barely 1642. Is January, so
yeah,
perfect.
All right. So docs check out, no conflicts, so name is good. Moving on to the device, there's a lot of commentary on this. Sable, a sword inverted argent entwined of a rose vine, or with 5 double roses, argent and azure.
The main question with this seemed to be whether it was maintaining or entwined of, and how many, and whether or not we should blazon the number of the roses, correct?
Yeah.
And whether it was metal on metal or.
Well, I think the metal on metal is not going to be an issue because whether it's maintained or overall or however it wants to be, the Cena seems to clear it.
Yeah, it needs to have contrast with the field, not with the charge that is
overlaying. Yes.
Standing.
And because the roses have the white on the outside, the blue doesn't clash with the
right. So it's the contrast is maintained.
We're predominantly metals on black. So for
and it's very identifiable. I mean, even without it blowing it up, you can tell what it is.
Right. Somebody said they didn't think it needed to be blazoned as leaved, but I don't know whether or not that's necessary or not. But the question seems to be whether whether the client requested specifically 5 roses. And whether we need to blazon it as 5 roses or just as.
I don't know where the leaved thing came from. It doesn't have leaved in the original.
No, somebody further down commented. And
it has Michael Gerard.
Yeah, Michael Gerard put in another suggested blazon that did have leaved in it, and somebody else came in and said, well, I don't know that that's necessary.
Okay.
Sable is sword inverted argent. Its blade maintaining an entwined vine or bearing 5 double roses argent and azure. Was that the most recent one? No. Sable sword inverted argent is blade maintaining an entwined vine or flowered of double roses argent and azure. I think was the last one that Michael Gerard proposed. Either one of those works for me, although I kind of like the second one better.
I think the 5 is, seems like 5
that was
would
the
be
question. We could just add the number 5 in there. Entwined, flowered of 5 double roses argent and azure. It's one word.
Yeah, I think that would be okay.
Right.
Nobody found any conflicts. It's just the blazon that everybody was arguing mainly.
Yeah.
So we can just do our best on that. And then if Reed thinks that it needs to be reblazoned, they can definitely, definitely do it.
I just realized the line drawing for this has a per Paul.
Oh, you are right. Oh my God.
What?
The line with the tip of the sword and the tip of the
Pale, sable and sable.
You're right. It's the sword is so close to the edge that I did not pick up any, but it can't be per pale sable and sable anyway. So that's got to be just some kind of an artifact.
Yeah, he was probably like
lining the sword up.
Lining the sword up.
Yeah, we can go in and
remove that.
Remove that little bit.
Power of digital wizardry.
Yeah, that's a good catch, though. I didn't spot that at all.
And
my screen's
looking at it like something just doesn't look right here. All right, but otherwise we're good. I think we're good on that one. So we're gonna send that one on up. Moving along to number 4. This in Rotha. New name and new device. Starting with the name.
This is a good name.
Yes, there's not a problem with that.
So.
And in Rotha, let's see.
In Rotha,
that's the feminine form of the byname.
Yeah, Viking names found in the Landnama book.
Right. What is that? What does that mean? It's a byname. I moved my book away. It doesn't say on the documentation what the byname means, does it?
It's one of those like nickname.
Right, it is, but yeah, it just doesn't say what it's supposed to mean. I don't guess it's important. I thought I had my Gear Bassy sitting right here. Silly me.
Fired.
Be right back. I'm gonna grab mine too.
I'm just gonna look at the link, the documentation.
Sorry, I'm just obsessive.
It means
I think it means something about red.
Yeah, in Ralphie, red.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so much for that. That is.
All right. So we're all good there.
So would like the female variant of that mean ginger? Wait,
it's the red.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I think we've decided the name is good.
Yeah, I just wanted to check one thing. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that we didn't have any accents missing or anything. It looks good to go.
Yeah, I was just looking at that also.
Because if we had an accent missing, we'd have to drop the thorn too. So.
So, right
it
quick.
Looks good to go.
The accent over the I in dis is different between the header and the documentation. Which one is correct?
Hold on a second, and I will look.
The header is.
The header is correct.
I just looked at it. Yeah, I just looked at it.
Okay. So the one that's going the other direction in the documentation needs to be flipped.
Correct. The header form is correct.
All right. All right, so new device, per bend, vert, and argent, a serpent glissant ghouls.
I was really surprised not to find a conflict with
Yeah,
this.
great device.
Yeah, it's good. It's simple. I remember this one coming through at Gulf Wars.
Yeah, there are only three devices in the database that have red snakes alone on the field.
Right.
And so this clears it so easily.
Yeah.
And all those other snakes are in different positions. That's why.
Well, also almost all of the snakes glisten in the ONA are pale-wise.
Hmm.
They're not fest-wise.
Do we have to specify? I don't think we do, but
I don't think so. I think that fest-wise is actually probably the default. I looked that up. And I did, and the ones that were pale-wise were all blazoned as pale-wise.
okay.
Fair.
So I'm thinking fest-wise is probably the default.
All right. So we have 3 people saying no conflicts found.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks good to me. I say send it up.
Mm-hmm.
Moving along to number 5. Ellen Woolhampton. New name and new device, starting with the name. Saying docs check out.
Yes.
Unmarked locative Persina Appendix A.
That's not a problem in English.
Yeah. So I guess no conflicts. Yeah, no conflicts found. So the name looks good. Moving on to the device.
Are you in an echo chamber?
Sorry?
Nope.
So moving on to the device. Propel Ghouls in Azure. A U salient. Maintaining in its forehooves a bow or knocked and drawn with a quill pen argent.
The redraw
I have
makes
to agree that the redraw is necessary so that we can actually see that there is a quill pen.
Yes.
Arguably, it's still even a little awkward to see.
It's too bad it's not another tincture like ore or something, because then it would be more obvious. But is the bow ore?
The bow
It
is
or there's also the question of if you can even knock it with a different thing besides an arrow, but that as a
there are we looked that up at Gulf Wars. This is a Gulf Wars.
Okay. So is that just for my edification? Is that a thing that we can just do with all straight objects?
Possibly.
I think that that we actually found another bow knocked with a pen.
Cool.
I can't rightly remember though. I have been sleep deprived since then.
Yeah, I will say that while the redraw does make it more clear, I still think that when you gets all colorized, it's still going to be hard to see the quill.
Negative, Woo, we cannot hear you.
No, I can.
Again.
I can't hear her.
Oh, Woo.
All right, Woo's asking if we can hear her.
Nope.
No.
We've lost you again.
I can hear what she's saying.
I can sort of hear something, but it's way off.
Or maybe it's just the voices in my head. I'm not sure.
Those are always entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
she said we registered several non-arrow items while I was Ragged Staff.
Okay.
So we have.
I'll put that in your bow and knock it.
So Lucian, you suggested an altered blazon. Propel Ghouls in Azure, a U salient, maintaining in its forepaws, in its four hooves, a drawn bow or knocked with a quill pen argent.
Yes,
and
that could work too.
I kind of like that.
It followed, like, I trolled through the O&A, and a lot of the ones that were similar had that format to them, so I figured it probably, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And
Okay, so if we're okay
I
with
heard Dan
line-
said.
Vote.
Whoa.
Okay, so if we're okay with the line drawing, I guess I will go ahead and get the colored one up to you tomorrow.
No pun intended.
Right.
Okay.
Cue the crickets.
Cricket. Okie dokie. So we're gonna get send that to the submitter, see if they approve redraw. Moving along to number 6. Julius von Bean. New name and device.
I think I figured out why we can't hear Woo. Because it looks like her mic is muted.
Well, it is now.
Oh, it wasn't before?
No.
Never mind. Number 6.
Can I unmute it for her?
All right,
They
so
were that easy.
starting off with the name. Here, Michael Gerard helps with the documentation.
That looked like it was all from German sources, according to the commentary below. So it looks like it's good to go.
Between Michael Gerard and Frida, I think that we've got the documentation we need. Oh, I'm sorry, Lucien. Were you implying something?
I think that first comment there was from me, not Reed. But whatever.
It's not about the recognition, Lucien.
But we actually already have the source for this because it's in the source document that the submitter included.
Mm-hmm.
It just has it listed in German as well as Latin.
All right.
Which was confirmed from the original source.
All right.
And then Frida
confirmed it from the original
source and translated it.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Michael Gerard confirmed that the spelling of Veen in period.
Right. So I think we're good with the name.
We're good with the name.
Send it up.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
Reed's cat stepped on the mute button.
That's right. Blame the cat.
No, really,
See,
that's
I
what
told
happened.
you her mic was muted. Nobody ever listened.
Dan says, my derpy kitty.
All right, moving on to the device. Per chevron inverted, argent and azure, in pale, a candle azure lit proper, and an open book argent.
I found no conflicts, but I agree with several of the other commenters that the candle should be larger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Candle should be larger. We're going to have to change the flame because what it is right now is not lit
It's
proper.
not proper.
Is
No.
lit or fimbriated ghouls, which is not allowed.
It needs to just be ghouls.
Right. Looking at this, I do have one other question. Is the per chevron inverted deep enough? Is it pronounced enough?
That kind of.
It's borderline.
It's not, but because the book is so big, it kind of forces that up a little bit.
Yeah, the field is approximately 50-50, so it's high enough, but it's maybe not steep enough down. But
Yeah,
with the book, I think
Lucien
Lucien is right.
With the candle, you might want to make the chevron a little bit more V.
Really, what the artist needs to do is start with the chevron.
Yeah, start with the chevron, make the book just slightly smaller, and the candle slightly larger.
Because you have to redraw it anyways.
Yeah.
It makes sense to start with the field division and then make the charges so that they fill the available space, whatever space there is.
Because there's no way that that the candle is going to have more visual weight than the book probably anyway.
Right.
So the book could be a little smaller, the candle a little larger, and the chevron a little bit more bead.
All right.
So
A book is always going to be heavier than a candle.
I don't know. I've seen some whopping huge
big
candles. On my dime.
Yeah. So, but it looks like that there's no conflicts or anything on it. So with a redraw, it should be able to go.
All right. Yeah. So we'll get a redraw done and send that to the submitter for approval. Moving on to number 7, Catalina de Chatelea, resub badge.
Okay, let's see.
Let's see here. Fieldless, a rose argent barbed vert on a crossbow quarrel and sword in saltire ore.
I honestly can't tell that that's a crossbow quarrel.
No.
It's hard to tell what it is because the rose obscures so much of it.
This poor submitter, this is like the 4th time she's...
I really feel bad for her.
I really do too.
We probably got her device passed earlier.
Well, I mean, we could send it on and let Wreath be the...
well, even if
the heavy, yeah, but I mean, then Wreath may not agree with us.
Well,
that
even if the quarrel is identifiable, I mean, that is like textbook barely overall. I feel
yeah,
like.
you've got a point.
And then, like, you could try shrinking the rose to make it not barely overall, or enlarging it. But if you enlarge it, then you increase the identifiability.
Really gonna
you got a problem with that. If you shrink it, then it's still, you have to shrink it a whole lot in order to fit to where it's not overhanging the bolt and the sword. It would be tiny. And if you make it any larger, it obscures the quillions, and it obscures too much of the underlying charges. So if it were 2 swords, we wouldn't be having this problem.
We really wouldn't.
I agree.
Or if it was just a normal arrow.
Yeah. Right, it's a normal arrow.
Yeah, it's the width of the crossbow bolt that makes it look. I mean, it looks like a spaceship to me.
Exactly.
I mean, it's the image from Mistholm.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
It's a spaceship with a nib attached to the end of it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's a spaceship for writing notes.
A space pen.
I got one of those at the NASA gift shop.
You really hate it, though, when somebody has resubmitted and resubmitted and resubmitted and they can't get it through.
I don't know.
And it's usually because they've got a specific symbolism involved in it that they absolutely want.
Well, here is my thinking. If we submit this and it gets kicked back, the submitter's going to have to wait 6 months before they have a chance to resubmit it. If we kick it back now, she could theoretically get it into the letter next month.
Point taken.
I have to agree with Lucy.
Resend that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Particularly given the fact that this is, a recurring issue with this submitter, that she keeps having stuff returned.
Yep. Who's been helping her with this?
Looks like Alan.
Yeah.
I don't know why she didn't catch me on Facebook. I did her last device, and I didn't know she was even doing a badge.
Sometimes people shop for artists. If they get a lot of stuff kicked back, it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
So are we bouncing this?
I would bounce it.
Yeah.
Now, Lucian's got a point. If we send it on and it gets bounced there,
then that's another 6-month delay that she's going to experience. And
I'm trying to think of any way.
I know, me personally, I would want to know at the kingdom level if there was something wrong with something I was submitting.
Right.
I think we've got to say that because of the size of the bolt, it qualifies as barely overall.
Is it also a metal on metal issue?
No.
No, because an overall charge
that's
has
true.
to contrast with the field, and this is fieldless.
There is no field. So.
That's true.
No
Okay.
field for it to.
Yeah.
So if you, and that's another issue, if you shrank the rose, then the rose would have to contrast with the underlying charges, and it couldn't be argent.
All right. So we're going to return that one. Moving on to number 8. Laura Rodriguez Figueroa.
Figueroa.
New name and device. Starting with the name. Docs check out. Brigida gives us a link to give us to make this a fully Spanish name. So we can use. So we have a document documenting Laura as a name in Spain.
And that takes care of the Spanish end.
Yeah, because
It's a fully Spanish.
both of the surnames are already
Spanish.
documented.
And the documentation for Laura, 1596. And the other two are 16th century, so.
Yeah, they're all in the same.
They're all in the same century.
So
this one looks good.
The name looks good. There was some conversation on the device.
Well, the first time I saw it, I thought he was flagellating himself with something rather than
I thought it
maintaining
was a
a
tennis
frame.
racket.
Cool.
Almost looks like a sap.
Guys,
I thought it was a musical instrument, but
I say it's
like a
really
lute or
good
something.
Spanish like colors and
Well,
iconography
now,
though.
they did suggest a redraw for a period type frying pan.
what?
And
Let
they
me
did change
let me get the blaze out first, please.
Okay.
Rules. A fess or overall a cow rampant maintaining a frying pan fess-wise argent.
Yep, they needed an udder too.
One angry cow.
Yes, really.
Moo.
Utterly amazing.
so I
This is
see
Malcolm
Kurt's
X.
comment that the submitter was very explicit about the cow being a female.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I do remember this individual. This is another Gulf Wars submission.
Yes.
I do remember her being quite explicit about wanting a female cow.
Okay.
Well, the udder handles that.
Do
Is
we
this a
have to
play
knock
on like a
horns?
wife chasing a husband with a frying pan?
The udders get lost in the shape of the cow. I would really remove the horns, honestly.
Yeah, I think the horns are the thing that would possibly confuse it for being a male versus female. So knocking off the horns might be the easiest option.
Well, in nature, my father raised cattle as a retirement hobby, and cows have horns just like bulls do. But
Yeah,
most
all
people,
cows have horns.
most cows have, but most people seem to equate horns with bull.
Right.
So,
Is there a
The way the udder is drawn, it makes it look like something else.
It does. It does make it look
One
pizzled.
little thing
That's
hanging
unfortunate.
down.
well, we can make the udder bigger. It could
Yes.
be utterly larger. But,
And
Oh, Bronwyn.
Is there a barely overall issue since the head is mostly on the yellow?
I don't think
There's an it's not an identifiability issue because the head also overlies part of the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And the
So even if it
frying
were
pan
high, the frying pan's up top.
covers
That makes
most of
sense.
the-
And there's enough of the legs and everything on the field. It fills the field. So no, I think the fess is a little bit high though.
No, it looks almost
it's about
50-50.
smack in the middle.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it just looks that way because of the attitude.
Yeah, the
maybe
head
so.
tilted down a little bit.
So, do we need to raise the cow's head? There was some commentary about that, about the cow's head being lowered.
I would.
I got this picture from Mist Home, or excuse me, no, from the Pensick Traceable Art Project. So I'm sure there's lots of other.
Traceable's not
thoughts out there.
infallible, but it was a good start.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If one of the udder, if on the udder, if one of the teats was actually up,
Yeah.
of the gold, it would be more obvious what it is.
Yes.
That would be a simple fix for the udder.
Okay.
Yeah, one or the other.
Lucy and I really am.
Also, maybe if you went salient instead of rampant, so you could lower that leg a little bit. Is that a thing? Anyways.
That might help, but as far as identifying the udder, but like I said, if you just,
I'm pretty sure she wanted a rampant cow.
She wants an angry cow.
She wants an angry cow wielding a frying pan.
I mean, I can't.
Really?
Yeah, I can't fault
It's got to be rampant for that.
I mean, besides these little things, it's a great device. I like the idea.
Oh, yes, wonderful. But, you know, if she doesn't have a problem with removing the horns, you know, I mean, but it's mainly the udder, the identifiability of the udder, I think.
And if we raise the head up, then that'll pull that left side horn up off of that foreleg, and then it'll be.
Well, also,
it'll help with identifiability.
Right. Something else about this is that I think this drawing was probably intended to be a bull. So the rounding, the musculature of the shoulders is another thing that tends to make it look more bullish because of that massive hump, shoulder hump.
And by straightening the head, you can thin that out a little.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, I can see that.
I think a redraw is going to be necessary, but we should be able to work with this.
I'll take a minute or two and work on that one. I can fiddle with that and make it something usable.
Well, commentary is open for another week, so you got time.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, no conflicts.
No.
So we get a redraw done and send it to the submitter for approval. And if they approve, we'll send it up. So moving on to number 9. Marguerite Isabelle Duval, new badge. Field list, a rabbit current sable.
In the how is this not registered file.
Yep. Yeah.
Great grab.
Just about.
I think we have to bounce this one on principle.
Yes.
Throw
it back.
It's nepotism. I'm sorry, it's nepotism.
Because Cypher needs to sleep on the couch for a couple of nights.
Yes.
Yeah, Cypher needs to feel Lambent's pain.
He's just like, I'm drinking.
So yeah, closest.
I had a lot of trouble with identifiability on this. I couldn't tell.
Oh wow!
Are we sure this isn't overly complex?
Big hairy deal. Okay.
All right.
I don't think anybody found a conflict, and that's just.
Closest we found was a rabbit current Conturney sable, and we got a DC for the fieldless bribe and a DC for orientation. So.
Yep. Throw it up.
Then
I found a Coney current ermine, so we got a DC for the color on that one.
And I found Argent, a hair current sable, and a chief embattled vert. So we take the chief off and make it fieldless, and that's 2.
Yep.
All
so
right.
this one is good to go.
Yep.
Good to go. All right. So
now we have to blazon Cypher or couch unoccupied.
Yes.
Okay.
So moving on to number 10.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 10, Mark Arturi, new name and device. Starting with the name.
He's got him. He's got a genitive.
That sounds naughty.
Yeah, I guess.
Heraldry? Naughty?
Never.
Naughty sounds like a field treatment.
True.
It's a field treatment, all right.
Hey.
Well,
we're trying to keep this decision meeting PG.
Yes, but you could have naughty.
Totally PG.
You could have naughty.
Youngsters have no idea what I'm talking about.
No. Anyway,
so Bronwyn, you say that you would
if Arturi is a genitive, then it becomes Mark Arthur's.
Yeah.
But Arthur's what? You know,
if it was and
Filius Arturi, then
in Renee and Wilson, it's in there as Filius Arturi. He just basically dropped the Filius when he went to submit the documentation, which is not how names are constructed in Latin.
No. That's Henry's son of Arthur.
I also got the card.
Filius Arturi means son of Arthur. So you don't have what you got is Arthur's.
Right.
And Arthur's what, you know, so
well,
you can have an unmarked patronymic, but not in the genitive tense.
Right.
Well, we could technically add Filius, make it Mark Filius Arturi.
Does he? What kind of change?
Yeah, but does he allow changes?
That's what I'm wondering, because that's going to be a major change.
Where that he doesn't allow changes.
Then you have to ask him.
Yeah.
Well, let me check.
It says the submitter prefers unmarked patronymic, so it would be
Mark
probably
Arthur.
better to change it to Arthur than
So I will make a note to ask.
And changing it to Arthur from Arturius seems to me to be a more minor change. As
He says
major would be adding a name element.
Yep.
I always drop money on
Okay.
because it says he needs to have Mark and Arthur reference, so we could make this Mark Arthur and reference both.
Right. Does the documentation support Arthur as a by name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rennie and Wilson, it's in Arthur. Arthur's, I mean, he could be Arthur. But no, that's
what I'm asking is, are those given names or are they surnames?
That's Rennie and Wilson, so that's surnames.
Okay. All right.
Now they don't have it where you can easily replace it yourself.
All right, so we will.
So he could be Arthur. Wait a minute. That's ARTHARS. I'm thinking the second one is a typo. That should be ARTHURS rather than HTURS. But am I correct on that? So he could be Arthur's.
Read Wilson in front of me. So.
Yeah, he could be Arthur's as instead of Arturi, or he could be Arthur. So he could have a choice between any of those.
Okay. Well, we'll ask him.
I just have to ask him. Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the device. Vert on a pale codist argent, a chalice sable.
Okay, I didn't find any conflicts, and I don't see anybody else having found any either.
I did not find any.
That's a nice, simple device, too.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, combining Arthur and a chalice seems kind of given there.
Like the Holy Grail or something, yeah.
Okay, moving along to number 11. Rowan McMurrow, new name and device. Starting with the name.
Okay. Okay, so they found Rowan as a masculine name. No, wait a minute. No, because it says spouse's name Philip.
It says feminine.
Feminine Rowan. Okay. It's an M back, so it should be okay.
Yeah, they found it both as a masculine name and as a feminine name. There should be a break there.
Okay. Now McMurrow. Mark patronage from Murrow.
Gives a better, gives a good link for that.
Yeah, we need one because it's actually GH. Yeah, the spelling is changed there. See.
I don't think we have any issues with the name, do we?
Seems.
I'm not seeing where it actually says McMurrow on any of this documentation without going and actually searching it. Rowan. Masculine names. Because we're looking for anglicized, aren't we? No.
It's under Brian. Brian McMurrow, Ganach McShay, dated 1599.
Okay. I think okay. We need to add that on the documentation somewhere, don't we? Or is that part? Oh, Brian, I see it.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. Is that on the medieval Scotland link?
Yes.
Okay.
It's on. I followed the one from that Michael Gerard put up.
Okay.
From the masculine list.
We probably still ought to add that this source documents.
Yeah.
Brian McMurrow, you know. But if it does, then the name should be fine.
Okay, so name's good. Sending it up. Moving on to the device. Azure on a bend between a Pegasus Segriant and a G clef Argent, a Sun Azure.
The main argument was about the G clef, correct?
I do believe so.
Which was found in Mistholm.
Yep, it's the exact one from Mistholm.
Well, and I don't see an issue with it, if that's the case.
No. As long as that's the period form. The musical notation changed appreciably over the years, so.
Right. G clef is listed as accepted on Miss Holmes, so.
Okay.
All right. So we need to uncapitalize Pegasus.
Yes.
But other than that, I think we are good.
Correct.
All right. Moving right along. So this is supposed to be number 12, Runolfer Orthokar Ulfman. There's a typo in the header.
Yes. Uh-huh.
New device, sable, a plate within 3 wolves, courant, and annulo conturni, feet to center, within a bordure argent. Lucien suggested a different blazon sable, a plate within 3 wolves, current conturni, and a bordure argent. Yeah, feet to center is unnecessary because it does not count for difference, I don't believe. I think we checked that at Gulf Wars.
But I think we still need to put that they're in, don't we still need to put that they're in annulo?
Yeah, Gerard corrected the blazon below. I left that part out of my original one unintentionally. So just add in annulo. So his blazon is sable, a plate within 3 wolves, courant, conturni, in annulo, a bordure argent.
All right.
That should work.
So, otherwise, is the device good?
Yes.
All right. So we'll send that up. Moving right along. Number 13. Roxandra Kelmer. New name and new device. Starting with the name. It's a Romanian name. So I was able to document both parts to the same document.
Then that sounds pretty good. I know it's not a conflict.
There was a little bit of conversation about whether Kelmer would be allowable. And I think Michael Gerard has said that yes, it would be. Merely applies to someone or something big.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what the submitter wanted.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Roxandra the Large, Roxandra the Great.
Yes.
I think, Woo, didn't you start on this like years ago?
When she first showed up, she wanted a Moldavian name, and the closest thing I could find was Romanian because this was the document I took it from.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad that I was able to find the same.
Nice choice of docs there, Pennon.
Woo, Pennon!
All right. So moving on to the device. Vert, a tree eradicated between 2 ibexes salient respectant, and on a chief argent, 3 triquetras vert.
I found no conflicts.
We had to add the chief because before it conflicted with Joseph of Loxley.
Yes.
Vert, a tree argent.
Yeah, just removing the secondary charges.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't find any conflicts with this one.
No.
And we need to add natural to the ibexes because a heraldic ibex has straight pointy horns.
Yes.
Yes. I thought I got through all of this letter, and apparently when I got sidetracked the other day, I got sidetracked before I finished it. My bad.
We can't
That's
do
all right.
it.
We're not even halfway done yet.
Yeah.
And, you know, here, I'll let you in on a little secret. Commentary's still open, so you can add stuff to it.
That joke's never going to get old.
No,
In fact,
sure it will. It'll get
in
old.
fact, while we're on that subject, I added 2 links to item number 10 because I was able to document Mark Arthur in Family Search. So if that's the version that the submitter wants to go with, there's the documentation for it.
Okay.
All right.
Fast forwarding back to 13.
Well, 13, I think we're good on 13. Going to move right along to number 14. Nori Smedson. New name and device. Starting with the name, both are from Gearbossi and via Viking Answer Lady. I think that is the D supposed to be a thorn?
I'm looking.
Michael Gerard.
I'm guessing it is, but
yeah, and it's supposed to be SMI.
SMI Thorn R.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it should be
end up dropping the R, making it an S, and
making it an S, and changing that D to a thorn.
All right.
It's the son of the Smith.
Right. Well, I'm looking at what Rita posted.
Yeah, she documented Snorri Smedson to medieval Norway.
So was she able to get that spelling?
She was able to get the spelling of the header with another S. So SMEDSSON.
Okay.
Now, yeah. Well, now
and her comment was that the submitter specified Norse, not Old Norse. So this is Norse.
But she still got a D in there instead of the TH thorn sound. Now,
because that's what the
source said.
Documentation.
Well, in any case, it's going to be changed to for the E to an I and 2 S's.
Yeah, because she documented Smidson with an I, not Smedson with an E. Although she's documented Smedzen with an S and a Z. So I'm guessing what she's saying is this is a plausible construction of that, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll give the submitter options.
Okay, that sounds good.
And we'll go on from there.
I think it's supposed to. I can't see it changing to a D.
Well, it does in later period in the 13th or 14th and 15th century.
Yeah.
But the Old Norse, it wouldn't. No.
No.
All right, so moving on to the device, Argent and Anvil maintaining a cat quotient between 3 Smith's hammers sable.
That cat has every bit the weight of the anvil.
Yep.
They seem to me they're co-primaries.
Agreed.
And I don't think that's the way to blaze that.
Yeah, I agree that the anvil should be sustaining the cat, not maintaining the cat.
Or the cat atop, or some other way.
On an anvil, a cat couchant. Kim suggested that one.
Upon an anvil, a cat couchant. Yes.
Laura corrected me though. I think atop actually makes it sound co-primary better.
A cat couchant atop an anvil table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think they are co-primary. They're virtually the same weight.
Yes, I would agree. So, blazing questions aside, are we good for clearing conflict?
Let's see.
Yeah, but there was some issue as to whether or not the overlap between the cat and the anvil was going to cause this to get kicked back.
I wouldn't think so. I made a stupid comment down at the bottom when I was looking at the one saying that it was a weasel, and it was a weasel, but it wasn't the device I was supposed to be looking at. I know I must have been tired when I did that. Okay.
Have there been other devices that got kicked back for that little bit of overlap?
Yes. C-Stag in the last comment posted a link to an item that was kicked back.
Yeah, in that case, I would do a redraw just to be sure.
Okay.
Caitlin the Wanderer's original badge was kicked back for something sort of like that.
Yeah.
Just make sure that the cat is on top of the anvil and there's no overlap below the top of the...
Yeah, move the tail up a little bit in the raise the cat up just a little bit and make the tail flatter, and I think you're good to go.
Just make sure there's one solid line.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
The two.
When I did the original conflict checking, I treated the cat and the anvil as co-primaries.
Yeah, they would be.
They would be. I can't see any way around that. That maintaining it would have to be a lot smaller.
But it'd be a lot smaller. It'd be a teeny little kitten on it, or a very big anvil.
One of those little 5-pound anvils.
Yeah.
Jeweler's anvil. One of the little bitty ones.
And again, drop the 2-in-1 with the hammers because it's default.
That is the default.
All right, so we will get a redraw of that sent to the submitter as well to raise the cat up off of the anvil a little bit. Moving along to number 15, Styrbjorn Gunnarsson, new name and device. So the name appears to all come from Gearbasi.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And no conflicts found in commentary. I think the name is good.
Let's see.
Construction of the name is good. There's no conflicts. I think we're good to send this one up.
All right. Moving on to the device. Profess Rani Sable and Ghouls, 2 Dragons Sagent Respectant Regardant, and a Thor's Hammer Argent.
Well, there's no problem with the low contrast line of division because it's not obscured.
Okay.
And the charges all have plenty of contrast and are clear what they are.
That hammer still seems a little weird to me, but I think it's mostly because I haven't seen
Well, it's one of those possible, it's one of those interpretations of it. It's got that knot work on it and everything.
The only issue I have with the Rani is it's
a little bit fine. It's not.
Yeah.
It could be. It could be fewer rayons.
Yes. And they could be a little bit bigger. I think that would definitely clear up any issues that I have with this design. But fortunately, I'm not the boss, and I don't have to make that decision. I just provide commentary.
Yeah, I think that's an artist note at the most.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's enough to really warrant a redraw at this point.
You might go ahead and just as a cover yourself kind of situation, do an artist note to the submitter at Kingdom level and mention when you put it up that you've
that we've noted that it's a bit on the fine side there, and we did our due diligence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Okie dokie. Moving along to number 16. I'm probably going to butcher this. Wu will have to correct me.
I got you, fam. Give it a try.
Timuge Satan?
Tamuj.
Tamuj. Okay.
Zatan.
Zatan.
Bless
Okay. Tamuj Zatan.
And if this is who I think it is, this is Sir Conrad's squire.
Okay.
Okay. It is.
Take it back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is a Mongolian name.
It is. Well, it's not it is a Mongolian name, but it's a Central Asian Mongolian name. It's not.
Okay.
So it's going to have more of the Middle Eastern influence.
All right.
Yay, Arabic.
It's almost like the
But are the
American
elements
portion of the
correct?
Yes. The short answer is yes. And he's cited Ursula for his documentation, so.
All right. Now,
I have to agree with the commentary that says that they've got the elements out of order. He's made a very common mistake, which happens with Mongolian names. I'm looking at Michael's commentary real fast.
So it's like Hungarian with the surname coming first.
Exactly. I would actually say that he should take the first option that Michael Gerard has offered. But you would need to, because you're and I can't see his forms right now for some reason. Does he allow changes?
let me check for you right quick.
Please, and thank you. I can't see forms until they get to a society level.
No, all I'm seeing is culture most important. No mention of whether or not he allows changes.
Well, I would tell you if Cypher had the forms in Dropbox.
Yeah, I was in the process of uploading them.
If only we had Cypher present to tell
My,
us.
my network is not doing a good job today. But he has it marked as most important is language and culture, Mongolian. And optional, change my name, be authentic for Mongolian.
He wanted authenticity, really?
Yep.
Oh. Then we're going to have to change the order, won't we?
Yeah, then you will need to change the order of the name and change it to what
the first option.
That first option that Michael has added, and just explain that you changed it at kingdom level because customer, excuse me, because
he requested
authenticity. Yeah. And for heaven's sake, summarize that in your external LOI, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okie dokie.
Or just cut and paste it.
Lucian.
Uh-oh.
No better than that.
He's evil.
Does he really?
Yes, he really does, actually.
Look at that face.
All right. So
I didn't know.
We are going to change that name for authenticity's sake. And moving right along.
Quickly before anybody stops.
To number 17, Theodora Duquesne, new badge. Fieldless on a plate, a pine tree proper.
Nope.
And I think we had the issue of we can't have a fieldless badge on a roundel.
That is correct.
Yes, because it's a method of display. It's a medium of heraldic display.
You can have a roundel, but
between argent. It would have no distinction between this and argent, a pine tree proper.
That's not the issue.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, that's part of the issue.
It is part of the issue, but a roundel is a medium of heraldic display.
Yes.
So you run into the presumption issue.
You can have a roundel on a fieldless badge, but it can't be charged. It has to be uncharged.
Yeah.
Yes. All right,
So
so
that one's going to have to go home.
this one we're going to have to return.
Mm-hmm.
And Argent, a pine tree proper, is already registered according to Ragged staff. So
Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
if this was a fielded badge and there were, say, the plate in the tree were smaller and there were 4 charges scattered around it or something, that would be different. But
Right. All right.
even if the blazon's different, you would have a visual conflict.
yes.
They basically look identical.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving along to number 18. Thomas de Nesbitt, new name and device. Starting with the name.
Name looks bulletproof.
Yeah, the name is good.
Brigida says it's good. No one else commented, but everyone else in commentary here is saying it's good. So we're just going to say the name is good.
Here, I'll add a comment. And
And moving along to the device. Propel, Azure, and Argent, 2 Talbots, Stationed a Dorse, and a Celtic Cross counterchange.
I didn't find any conflicts, but Garnet brought up a good point that Celtic should be capitalized.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
But other than that, I don't have any issues with this. It looks good to go.
Okay, yeah, I was just double checking something, but I think it's fine. Because Garnet had said that they hadn't. Did you, or Cypher? Did you check it with the 2 hounds as primary?
I did not. I checked it with the hounds and the cross as a primary charge group.
It's like one. Because Garnet is saying that they think it's that the hounds are the primary and the cross is a secondary.
Yeah, I can
see that.
Dog, 2 primary.
But with the Celtic Cross being a secondary charge, wouldn't we need to blazon it as in base?
Mm-hmm. That's what she said in her comment.
Yeah.
We'll say 1 secondary.
It's considerably smaller than the hounds, so.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Are you still looking?
I checked it originally with just the hounds as the primary, and I don't believe I don't recall seeing anything that was even close.
Yeah. I just did a really quick complex search using dog to group primary, not alone, and cross as a charge, 1 secondary, and there's 2 items with a score of 2. The first one should be fine, and the second one will be fine also. So I think we're good here.
All right. We'll alter our blazon. Okay, so moving on to number 19, William Ferris of Clyde. New name and device. Starting with the name. Looks like Dictionary of Medieval Names from extant sources and
IGI.
Family Search, yeah.
It's a P batch.
And you can combine English and Scottish.
Yes.
Yeah. Combine English and Scottish. So they are within
They're within 124 years of each other.
Mhm.
So that's not an issue.
We could probably find William closer if we wanted to.
Sure, we could. William's one
Not
of the
really
names that's
necessary,
been
but-
used since the dawn of time, just about. I think we'd find a caveman with the name William if we looked hard enough. From the Neanderthal.
All right, but don't have anyone saying they found any conflicts. So I think the name is good.
Mhm.
Moving on to the device. Argent, a paw inverted between two wolves, rampant, a dorsed sable, and a dragon's head cabossed ghoul.
The paw is a little on the thin side, but I don't think it's enough to send it back. And you have to make room for the 3 charges. The wolves are identifiable. Dragon's head pretty much too.
Yeah, that dragon's head is straight out of the Penzic traceable art.
Yeah, there's a few things in Penzic traceable art that aren't.
The spacing is a little weird on the 2 wolves.
Yeah.
But
It
I
is.
had a hard time drawing the reversed one, okay? I didn't have a light box.
I was gonna say, have you
Go for it.
when I got
Non-identical
oh,
charges are period.
I didn't say they weren't identical. It's just one's like right next to the paw, and the other one's like, "Hey, I'm going to hang out over here."
That occurs
a
in
little
period armorials as well. Penance should not feel bad at all.
No.
That paw
I'll just let Lucian draw it next time.
Yeah, Lucian.
Yeah, Lucian will do the smart thing and draw 1 and then flip it.
I did.
Oh my gosh.
You did?
You need to chill out, Lambent.
I never was a critic.
You're doing fine, pumpkin.
The paw is, in my opinion, too thin, though.
Everything needs a cookie. You are correct. Give the paw a cookie.
By the time we got to the end of Gulf Wars, everything was so soggy. I'm surprised half these papers didn't just fall apart on the drive home.
Yeah.
Well, you know, soggy devices are period. I've seen that.
Oh.
What? Yeah, never mind.
That'd be looking rough.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Well,
these are my fears.
We'll throw an artist note on it.
Yeah.
Throw an artist note on it.
Throw an artist note on it saying that the paw needs a cookie.
Yeah.
And we will send that up. Okay. On to the last item of the letter.
Woo.
Number
Who is
20.
this person? Who is this?
Yun. New household name. House of the 9 Dragons.
Why has it got to be 9?
Seems familiar.
But that agrees with the English in name model.
Yeah.
Well, except all of the examples cited were 3 of whatever, not 9. But
Well, it was either color or number. It is the preeminent style.
yeah,
If they had a modifier, it was
I
on the
don't have an
first
issue
number.
with this submission.
And I think
fine submission. I think we should send it up.
Yeah.
Because it is awesome.
I think we've registered.
Sounds like someone's trying to curry some favor here.
Other than 3.
I think I got a little.
I did run this by. I ran this by Pelican because originally I wanted it to be my Herald Extraordinary title, and she said that it would work better as a household. So I'm pretty sure she'll accept it.
So I think we're good. I don't see any problems with the construction of it.
Nope.
Are we going to run into issues with having V in it?
Shouldn't.
I wouldn't think so.
Might need a redraw.
I mean, is it an Oriental dragon?
You might
or
want
a
to
regular dragon?
go easy there because I will see you on Saturday.
Well, Woo, I mean, you could say that you would allow the article to be dropped in order to register it. I mean,
Really?
that's a simple fix if it doesn't work.
Yeah. My understanding was that we needed the article, but I'm not married to it. I just want Nine Dragons to go through. So do whatever you have to do,
Okay.
Pennon.
I'll add a note that you will allow the article to be dropped if necessary.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And so we'll send that one up. And that brings us to the end of our letter.
Yay!
Thank you, everybody, for sticking around for the long haul.
Do this again.
We got started a little late, but we've finally made it through, and it's not even 10 o'clock yet. So
we've all got time to go to the letter and still add comments.
Yeah, go to the letter.
You don't have to do that tonight. You got all week.
Hey, Kurt.
Yo.
Are you going to be at Newcomers on Saturday?
Yeah, that's my home Shires event.
Okay. Then, well, just because it's your home Shire doesn't mean you're going to be there.
He's teaching.
My wife is
I can
like,
vouch for that.
I'm going to be there.
I've got a stack of paperwork to give you.
Oh, goody.
All right, so thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you next month. So, good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.